Now that's a hefty price tag, but with that purchase, we may be on the cusp of some major Pokemon history, the Pokemon equivalent of assembling all of the Infinity Stones together. Hey guys, I'm Pokemon Classics, and today I invite you to join me through our monthly recap. But first, let's roll the intro. Hey everybody, what's up from Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Today we're breaking down the top 5 news stories in Pokemon, along with some of my own personal thoughts and commentary on each one. That is the goal of this channel, after all, is to keep you informed whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. Also, as is tradition on this series, don't forget to stick around to the end of the video for my top 5 content recommendations. These are some of the best PokeTuber videos of the month, and I'd highly encourage you to give each and every one a watch. Anyway, let's dive into our first story. First up, we have some product news. As you may have heard, there's a new set making its rounds in Japan called Pokemon Card 151, and it's kind of a big deal. This set, featuring all 151 original Kanto Pokemon, has been drawing international attention for a number of reasons. First, it's the first set in 20 years to feature Kadabra after the infamous Uri Geller lawsuit preventing Pokemon from printing and distributing Kadabra cards. Now, just for reference, the last time Kadabra was featured in the TCG was in the Skyridge set back in 2003. Now, this set also contains some amazing artworks, including throwbacks to original illustrations, story-driven evolutionary lines, and a variety of innovative design elements, such as the sunrise and cityscape holo patterns found on Mew and Mewtwo. Personally, I think this set is really cool, ranking up there as one of the best sets of all time from an artwork perspective. Finally, the presence of 45 secret rares and the potential to pull God packs only adds to the already unprecedented hype and demand for this new set. In fact, prior to its Japanese release on June 16th, Pokemon Japan issued an apology statement for previously not having enough product to meet public demand and vowing changes to Pokemon 151. A few of these measures include printing 151 to order and implementing a lottery system for orders and their fulfillment to ensure an equal opportunity for continuous distribution of sealed product over the course of several months. Despite these measures, Japanese Pokemon 151 products have been wildly popular and selling for a premium on the secondary market. Even the English set release has experienced this wave in interest. Although it's not scheduled for release until September 22nd, the English Pokemon 151 products have already popped up for pre-order on the Pokemon Center website, along with major retailers like Best Buy, Target, and GameStop. As many disappointed collectors can attest, pre-orders for the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs sold out almost instantly, along with limited pre-orders of other products, including the Pokemon 151 UPC. While it's unclear how widely these products will be printed, in fact, UPC pre-orders are live once more on Target as of the filming of this video, it is evident that Pokemon 151 has reinvigorated an otherwise lackluster Scarlet and Violet era. Anyway guys, you'll have to let me know what you think about Pokemon 151 down in the comments below. Speaking of Pokemon TCG products, the Pokemon Company recently released its yearly production recap, and for the third consecutive year, Pokemon has broken the all-time annual record with 9.7 billion cards produced in just 1 year. Now, this is an astronomically high number, edging out last year's production total of 9.1 billion cards by a substantial margin. To put these numbers into perspective, the Pokemon Company has produced 52.9 billion Pokemon cards in total over its 27-year run, averaging between 1.5 and 2 billion cards per year prior to 2019. In just the last 2 years, Pokemon has produced a whopping 18.8 billion cards, or about 35% of its entire printing history. One of the more noteworthy distinctions in this report is the addition of a new language and distribution into new countries and regions. Recently, Pokemon expanded its reach, with simplified Chinese becoming the 14th official language of the TCG and added 12 new countries or regions to its distribution. This actually marks the first time Pokemon has added a new language or new territory since 2019 and may explain some of the elevated production numbers. Anyway, it's always cool to see Pokemon expand and become more accessible to a broader audience. As long as we're on the topic of international Pokemon news, there's also been an update on the 2023 Pokemon World Championships. For those of you who haven't been following this news, this year's World Championships are taking place in Yokohama, Japan from August 8th to 14th. In addition to all the usual bells and whistles Worlds has to offer, there'll also be a Pokemon-themed cruise, orchestra, live shows, and parades. Considering this is a homecoming of sorts for Pokemon returning to Japan, I'd have to imagine that the Pokemon Company will make every effort to make this one special. Unfortunately, overwhelming demand has forced the Pokemon Company to implement a lottery system for spectator badges and event tickets. Registration for this lottery closed on June 12th, with Pokemon announcing several rounds of notifications to be sent to winners with opportunities to purchase up to 2 badges. As you can imagine, this has been difficult for a number of travelers and Pokemon enthusiasts hoping to gain access to the main event, and reports of spectator passes being resold on secondary sites like eBay at ridiculously elevated prices haven't made it any easier to digest. Anyway, I hope it all works out for everyone traveling to Worlds. I'm sure it'll be an amazing experience for those who make the journey. The next headline is a controversial one, but recently CGC Grading Company announced major changes to its business, including a redesign of its iconic blue label and a revamp of its entire grading system. Now, back on June 20th, CGC announced a merger with CSG, becoming the world's second largest grading service. As part of this merger, CGC took the opportunity to update their slab label from the traditional blue design, matching the labels for other graded items like video games and comic books, to a new modern black and white design. There's even a special gold embossed label for cards graded pristine 10. Personally, I like these new labels better than the original, but I seem to be in the minority here. It seems that around every corner of the internet, there's been buzz with criticism and a desire to bring back the blue. You guys will have to let me know how you feel about the new labels down in the comments below. However, the much larger controversy surrounding CGC has to do with the new grading system. As part of their announcement, CGC informed customers that subgrades would no longer be offered and that the grading scale would be shifting in a pretty substantial way. This graphic helps illustrate the change, but essentially CGC would be phasing out the perfect 10 grade and elevating the pristine 10 to its top spot. They would also be adding a Gem Mint 10 grade, previously a 9.5 on the old grading scale, and allowing users to resubmit 9.5s for reholdering as 10s for a $5 fee. Now, this move has proven controversial for a number of reasons. First, many are concerned about the lack of consistency. This is actually the second time CGC has changed its grading standards in just 3 years, and whether it's the lack of subgrades, mismatched labels, or changing conditional standards, many collectors have voiced their displeasure at having to navigate this change. Others are upset about having to spend $5 to rehold their existing cards in their collection, while others see the free upgrade of 9.5s to 10s as a financial opportunity to buy and flip cards. Personally, I think this is a bit of a mess, especially considering that BGS had recently tried implementing a similar change before customer backlash forced them to abandon the idea altogether. To me, this seems like a bit of a cash grab on reholdering fees and an attempt to lure in more customers by lowering grading standards and making 10s more prevalent. I do really enjoy the new label in the case though, but as always, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the matter down in the comments below. Next up, we turn our attention to something a bit more uplifting and historical, but recently a card that has never publicly surfaced before has been uncovered and purchased for $270,000. The card in question is the legendary Snap Pikachu. Now, back in 1999, Pokemon released Pokemon Snap on the Nintendo 64, and along with its debut came a photo contest in Japan where contestants could submit their favorite Snap photos to Pokemon with a chance to have these photos turned into actual cards. In total, 10 submissions were selected as winners, with each recipient receiving between 15 and 20 copies of their card as a prize. Supposedly, these were the only copies to ever be produced or distributed, making these some of the rarest and most highly sought-after cards in Pokemon history. In fact, about a year ago, the first and only Magikarp to ever surface was purchased for over $135,000 by Dubsy, one of the most notable yet mysterious collectors in the hobby. The card was subsequently graded with PSA and featured on SMPratte's YouTube channel, along with a detailed history about the Pokemon Snap contest. However, this unearthing of Magikarp left one final Snap card with no record of public sale: the Pikachu. This changed on June 9th when Dubsy unveiled the newest acquisition of his collection, the Snap Pikachu. authenticated by PSA with a population of just 1. Obtaining this card was truly history in the making, with noteworthy collectors Hadouken Nido and Mr. Fuji documenting the process of sourcing and purchasing the card on behalf of Dubsy. The card itself was purchased raw and not in pristine condition, but yet it still cost twice as much as the Magikarp at $270,000. Anyway, this card was thought to be lost forever, making the complete 10-card snap set impossible to complete, and up until this point, it has been. However, with Dubsy now in possession of the only Magikarp and the only Pikachu cards, and the others more readily attainable, it seems likely that Dubsy will become the first and only collector to assemble the entire set. That is, if he hasn't already. Personally, I'd love to see all 10 cards displayed together side by side. It'd be like the Pokemon equivalent of uniting all the Infinity Stones together, and a major milestone in collecting history. Once more though, you guys will have to let me know your thoughts on the Pokemon Snap cards down in the comments. Finally, we'll wrap up this month's news with a couple Pokemon products boomeranging back in for their second return. The first of these products is the Halloween-themed Trick or Trade Pokemon packs, which originally debuted last fall. Last year's set featured reprints of 30 different cards, each stamped with a special pumpkin Pikachu logo. Now 10 of these cards were holos, with a variety of spooky Pokemon like Gengar being heavily featured in the marketing material. Many of the details surrounding this year's set still haven't been released. However, we do know that this year's booster bundle will consist of 50 mini packs, 10 more than last year's 40, and will retail for $20. Pokemon has also released some of the packaging and marketing material, going with a green color profile this year and featuring Mimikyu in place of Gengar. Personally, I think this is a really cool product. Although the cards aren't particularly rare or valuable, it's a great alternative to candy on Halloween. And I know that if I were a kid, I'd be extremely excited to get some Pokemon cards while out trick-or-treating. This is definitely a product I'll be keeping an eye out for this fall, so that I can hand out packs to the kids in my community. Shifting seasons to winter, Pokemon has also announced the second iteration of their holiday calendar. Now, last year's calendar featured 8 promo cards with a special snowflake stamp, 6 Sword and Shield era booster packs, and a variety of other treats including coins, stickers, fun packs, and even an ornament. This year's holiday calendar features similar contents, but with a new design and color palette. A colder blue appears to be the theme this time around, including the ornament, which is reported to feature Glaceon, replacing Delibird from last year. Now, the holiday calendar will retail for $50, the same price as last year, and is scheduled for release on September 1st. Unfortunately, we don't have all the details about the included promo cards or booster packs yet, but it's still pretty early on in the process. Anyway, I think it's really cool that Pokemon has branched out with some of these seasonal items. It's always fun to see the illustrations and designs of Pokemon reflected in different contexts. Let me know what you guys think about the Pokemon holiday calendar and the trick-or-treat packs down in the comments below. Anyway, guys, before I unveil my top 5 videos of the month, consider hitting the like button and subscribing to my channel. I put hours and hours of work into each and every one of these videos, and your support goes a long way in keeping me motivated and staying on the grind with the content creation. But anyway, I truly appreciate you all for watching, so let's roll into the top 5. First up on this month's top 5 list, I wanted to celebrate the return of Pokemon Radar to YouTube. For those of you who aren't familiar, Pokemon Radar was one of the earliest Pokemon podcast hosts on YouTube, and one of my personal favorites. However, after some time away, he's back with a rebranding of his channel and a strong lineup of podcast guests for his return. The first episode features PokeRev and has a ton of great insight about all the nuances of building a Pokemon business, along with some behind-the-scenes stories and anecdotes about PokeRev's rapid rise to YouTube stardom. As a YouTuber myself, and a longtime acquaintance of PokeRev before his YouTube fame, this was an excellent watch and one that I would highly recommend. Next is a follow-up on an absolutely insane collection purchase featured on Leonhart's channel. A few months back, Leonhart posted a video on behalf of Rare Candy featuring a massive collection purchase with some of the rarest cards in Pokemon, including the Tropical Mega Battle trophy cards, Pokemon Snap cards, no rarity base set Japanese cards, and a number of other historical items. Leonhart does a great job in this video educating his audience on the history of these cards, while also revealing the grading results from PSA. If you like Pokemon history or simply enjoy collection videos, then this video is certainly a fun one. The next video comes from one of my favorite collectors and Pokemon experts, TCA Gaming. In this video, Rusty once again shares some knowledge and insight with his audience, this time reviewing the best practices for submitting cards to PSA for grading. Now, there are a lot of PSA submission videos out there, but one aspect of the process that's often neglected is how to package and ship cards safely and efficiently. It's really nothing groundbreaking, but still a very useful video filled with useful information. And even as a longtime PSA customer myself, who has successfully shipped cards for over a decade, I still found this video helpful for speeding up the packaging process and potentially saving some money. Definitely give it a watch. The next video is a commentary piece from SMPratte on the current state of the market. Recently, Japanese promos and female full art trainer cards, or waifus, have exploded in popularity and price, making for an extremely volatile market. In this video, Scott offers a two-pronged approach to explaining this trend: the addition of China to the broader Pokemon market, increasing demand, and supply constraints on Japanese production, leading to a culture of buyouts and flipping not typically seen in Japan. Regardless of the underlying reasons, Scott offers some grounded wisdom here while also discussing the sustainability of this trend. If you have any interest in the Japanese market, then this one is for you. Finally, we'll wrap up this one with a top 10 countdown from none other than Top 10 Pokemon. This particular episode features the hottest Pokemon cards of 2023, providing an in-depth look at some of the best performing Pokemon cards of the year so far. Now, one of the things I particularly appreciate about this video is the use of TCG Fish, a comprehensive site for tracing Pokemon market data. This helps contextualize how astonishingly well some of these cards have done, with many having significant vertical movements in their pricing graphs. Anyway, I won't spoil the list for you. Definitely go check it out for yourself. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Breaking News, where we break down some of the most important Pokemon news stories each and every month. Let me know your thoughts on these stories down in the comments below, and if there's any major news stories that I missed, definitely send them my way. Anyway, guys, I'm Pokemon Classics, reminding you that the classics never go out of style. Thanks for spending your time with me here today. We'll see y'all with the next video. Bye, everybody.